So you are saying there are like, let's say you have one resource group for your Sentinel, right? This is less for an example. Think about this is my Sentinel Alpha. Okay.
అంటే మీరు పొద్దున్నే
Guys,
లేసి
please go in and
ఇప్పుడు
mute if
మీరు
you're not
పొద్దున్నే
speaking.
లేసి వెంటనే
Thank you. Now, so what Venkat is saying, this is my resource group for my Sentinel, right? That's okay. In the real world scenarios, you will not be saying only one resource group, right? It means every resource is not going to be deployed inside one resource group. I mean, if you are wanted to, I mean, that segregation will always be there, right? Basis on that different things. Like let's say if I'm segregating my resource group, basis on my application workload, okay, or basis on my environment, right? Let's see, I'm saying it dev resource group, okay? Dev resources is going to be meant inside this resource group. This is my dev. Now, this is my stage, okay? This is my prod, and similarly, this is my let's say QA. Okay, so now there will be multiple resource group when you are going to see it in your real scenario, just not the one scenario. Now, Sentinel is here, your workspace is here, right? Your workspace is here, Sentinel is here, analytics, everything you configure it here, right? So what Venkat is saying, uh, how you are going to send that, how your Sentinel is going to monitor the resources which place inside the different resource group. Is that what you're asking, Venkat? Am I taking it correct?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes, that's
Okay,
correct. Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay, okay. So now that is the question here, right? Now let's say there on this resource group for the dev one, I have one VM. Okay. For my prod resource group, I have one storage account. For my stage resource group, let's say I have my any load balancer. Okay. And now let's say in this resource group, my firewall has been placed, whether PAN OS or checkpoint or whatever. Right. Now, how I'm going to monitor it there? So far we discussed the SIEM part, right? SIEM part. Just focus on the SIEM part. Nothing have to do it here, right? Whatever the resource is here, what you need to do it here, you just need to make sure that logs for these resources is getting ingested inside the workspace. And we know very well what we need to do it for that. So what I need to do it there, I need to first thing, need to make that connector should be in a connector space. It should be connector, data connector. Okay. When the data connector for this VM is connected, whatever the resource group XYZ, whatever the resource group, it is placing it, right? Doesn't matter for me. Till the point it is getting sent, it is ingesting my logs, it is ingesting that VM's log to my Sentinel workspace. And for that, we seen that, right? Yesterday, we seen that Windows security data connector, right? Windows security event data connector, right? And it got connected. And as soon as it got connected, I started getting the logs from my virtual machine. Similarly, for my storage account, right? What I need to make sure my data connector should be in a connecting place. And now the storage account, whatever the log, whether it's an activity log or whether it's an access log or any other log, right? I just need to make sure these logs are getting ingested inside my Sentinel. I mean, if your logs are getting ingested, right, at least you have a data source where, I mean, on that data source, you can do your analysis, right? Whether you want to block it, you want to allow it, whether you want to put some analytics over there based on the different tactics which you mentioned, right? So all in all, what I'm trying to communicate here, whether they belong to the same resource group or they belongs to different resource group. Guys, if you can please go on mute, will be helpful. Otherwise, I need to mute everybody, right? The only thing I need to make sure that it's getting the logs for all these resources is getting ingested for them, right? And for that, I need to make sure my data connector, whatever the data connector I'm doing it there, it should be in connected state. Or you should, within the data connector, you are also going to get that steps to do that, right? Yesterday, if you remember that, right? Yesterday, I was trying to do it for my, this is my Sentinel, right? Yesterday, in yesterday class, if you've seen that recording or if you watched me like what I was doing it yesterday. So what I was doing it there, I tried to connect one connector in my content hub, right? In content hub, I found one connector, right? Which is Windows security event, Windows security event, correct? And for that security event, what I did nothing. I just created one data collection rule. For what? For what purpose I created this, right? I created this data collection rule so that VM, which is here, this VM, which is placed it here, right? It should send the logs. It should collect the logs from this virtual machine to my Sentinel workspace. right? This is needed for this virtual machine. Now think about that. You have your Palo Alto firewall, or you have your checkpoint firewall, or any third next generation firewall there, right? So for that also, yesterday I told you the steps there. If this is placed in whatever group, firewall in real scenarios, in real environment, you will always seeing that firewall placed in different resource group. Firewall in real scenarios, you will not be seeing it placed in one resource group. It will always going to place in different resource group. This is what they do. Or for the checkpoint, for an example, if I'm going to deploy my checkpoint for my marketplace, right? I'm opting predefined template. I'm taking predefined template, right? So whatever the name you're putting it there, the resource group, it's going to create two different VM in that resource group. And that resource group will only contain the checkpoint config. Okay. Now, this is what I did for my virtual machine. Now PAN OS is there, checkpoint is there, any vendor of thing, right? But the WAF is there, F5, Akamai. You can think about that. They have data connector for it, right? If that is in there, what you need to do it there. First thing you need to make sure. First aim you need to make sure the data should get ingested here. Now for the PAN OS, what you need to do it there. For the PAN OS, what you need to make there that what you need to make sure, right? The data should get ingested there. And for that, what you need to do it, you again go in a data connector, right? In a container which is there, and you'll get the script. You'll get a script. A script for what? A script for install your log analytics agent. Log analytics agent where? Where exactly I need to install that? You need to install that in a PAN OS, right? Makes sense? Because that setting which they are providing it, this is my native solution. This is my native solution. This is my native solution. Why I'm saying it this? Because this is VM is again deployed inside my Azure. Now this PAN OS is also deployed on the Azure, but this PAN OS is not deployed. This PAN infrastructure deployed on my VM, but this I'm on top of that VM, I'm installing my PAN OS. Okay. So if I need to get the logs, if I need to ingest the log for this VM on which PAN OS is installed, for this VM like CPU utilization, memory utilization, activity log, access log, I can get for this VM. But what about the PAN OS? I mean, on this VM inside that, this Palo Alto is running. On this VM inside that, checkpoint is running. How can I get that? So for that, you need to make this setup. You need to install that log analytics agent on this PAN OS. Once this is done, you need to make sure that the format of your log which you're sending it, the format of your log which you're sending it, right? It should be in a syslog format or it should be in a common event format, CEF, right? And you need to also make sure that port 514 should allow on your firewall. Now, after doing all the steps, what happened with there?
Uh, can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yeah. Please
Yesterday
go ahead.
you, yesterday you said like you need to open a similar one, but that's on premises,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
On the on premises also,
Yeah.
you need to do the same setup there.
Okay. So similarly, you need to do the similar setup here as well.
Correct. First thing for the on-prem, right? First thing with the on-prem, you need to do one additional step, and that additional steps is you need to make sure connectivity, right? A network connectivity. Let's say this is my on-prem
Yeah,
firewall.
like a site to site or
Correct.
yeah,
Exactly,
correct.
exactly, exactly. Once this is in place, then all that steps you need to make sure the data connector should get connected. You need to install that log analytics agent there and then proceed further, right? Now, think about that. I've done these steps and my things are getting connected now. My connectors are connected. Now, if you have your the 90% of your tasks is done it there, right? 90% to collect the things stuff into one place, to make the data source and collect all centralized log in one place. That you have done it now. Now, further steps is you need to write that analytics rule. Analytics rules is based on your requirement. There will be some predefined rule also you are going to get it. But now, this predefined rule is, I can say, is going to be differ basis on your requirement, right? Like for me, I written some KQL queries for my analytics rule based on my requirement. My requirement was like if any things were getting there, anything is happening there, right? Trigger that incident. Yesterday, if you remember, I created one analytics rule and that's some predefined tactics, right? And put it some secure KQL queries there, right? But this analytics rule is going to be differ organization to organization, right? Because my policies is going to be differ, your policies is going to be differ. Your parameter of
So
taking. Mhm.
so one question here. So is the log analytics space is same for all of these resources in all the resource groups, or it will
Exactly.
be
Because this
single?
No, this will remain same. Sentinel workspace which are sending it, right? If you want to
Yeah,
send
this
that
is
log, it should remain one.
okay.
Sentinel will always have one workspace. It should remain one, right? Now, what
Okay.
happened? This analytics rule which you are writing, this analytics rule is nothing. It just analysis of your uh, of your own analysis to categorize that attack or threat happen. How you're going to, Venkat, please go on a mute. How you're going to analyze yourself that attack is happened. For that, you're going to write that analytics rule there. Okay. Now you written that analytics rule, right? Now you're saying it whenever this incident happen or this tactics is getting matched, trigger that incident. Now incident got triggered, right? Incident landed in your Sentinel queue, right? We seen that yesterday how we can how we can assign that Sentinel, how we can do hunting over there, right? Like yesterday we did that some hunting, right? Hunting means like trying to analyze more about this incident which happened, where this is coming from, what is that IP address, what source is generating it, right? How can I get more details? Is there any similar pattern of attack previously happened, right? These kind of things you can do on hunting, right? Now incident is there. Now this part incident is there, everything is there, right? Till part we covered that our SIEM part. Okay, we covered our SIEM part. So if I'll summarize the thing, what we did so far, right? I created one VM there so that VM can be act as a resource for me. VM can act as a resource for me. A dedicated Sentinel workspace for my Sentinel. This is needed. This is needed for me Sentinel workspace, right? Now, third thing which I did, I in the content hub. What is content hub? Content hub is nothing. It's just the solution. What solution? That solution which contains everything. It contains your predefined analytics rule. Sorry, it contains data connector for your source, or that, I mean, whatever that connector you are taking. Data connector, predefined data connector. It's also contain predefined analytics rule, correct? It's also contain predefined workbooks. What is workbooks? Workbooks is a dashboard representation. Like say, this VM, this firewall is there, right? And I want to get that real-time scenarios, and I want to get everything in one place. So you can create your own dashboard, and whatever that stuffs you wanted to have it here, you can place it there. So it also contain workbook, and then at the same time, what else it can do? Somewhere you are also going to see that playbooks are also there. Now, what is this playbook? This is that automation steps that we're doing it, right? Now, this content hub, it's just recently, it's not that too old, right? You are saying it, but now they place everything in one umbrella, right? They place everything into a one bucket. Previously, you were saying everything as a different data connector is there, analytics rules are there, workflows are there, and that is here, right? So you need to go each and every step from there. But now they make it somewhere uh, uh, solve it somewhere, and they place everything into one bucket now, right? Now, so yesterday content hub, from that content hub, I got my data connector for what? I got the data connector for my Windows security event. And what does it mean to me? This is a kind of content. This is kind of connector which I connect. I connected this contact for my Windows VM, so that whatever the security event is happen on this VM, correct? It should get logged in via this content. And at the same time, I created a data collection rule. That data collection rule is for so that this VM can send the logs to my Sentinel workspace, right? Now, Windows security event got connected, right? Now, I've written some analytics rule, right? I written some analytics rule there with simple queries like security event and then analytics rules in a place. As soon as my tactics was getting matched, it's going to trigger that incident. And that's what it did yesterday. It triggered that incident, right? Post that incident got triggered. What I did next, I tried to analyze my incident. I was trying to do that some analysis where that incident came from, what is that IP address, right? And basically, I was trying to do some hunting there. A new hunt, we did it yesterday, right? I tried to do the hunting and tried to figure out where exactly this incident is coming about, right? What is that IP address? What else detail I can get it there? So far, yesterday, we reach out here, right? Now, where we have that incident, where we have that details with her, right? Now, how can I do that? How can I do that without the manual intervention? How can I, let's say, I'm categorizing that incident as a malicious to me, right? And certain parameters are there, right? Based on that, you can take that further action, right? You're saying it if person is coming from North Korea, right? For taking an example, if that person is having this IP address, right? Block that IP address on their firewall. Firewall where? On that Palo to firewall. Or let's say in my case, block that firewall. So what is that minimum layer of security I'm doing it on this virtual machine? Guys, question for you. What is that minimum layer of security I'm doing it on this virtual machine? Anyone? What is that minimum layer of security I'm putting it on this virtual machine which I created?
MSG.
Correct. NSG, right? No firewall is there for me. No PAN is there. No checkpoint is there. Nothing is there. Only steps I am blocking and unblocking the traffic on that NSC level. So I can say that whatever that IP address you have it there, where I can block it, I can only block it on that NSC level. Go and block that at NSC level. All these steps you can do it automatically. You don't have to put any manual steps there, right? So that part after hunting, I'm running some automatically response there. I'm running some automatic response, right? Then this is getting blocked on the NSC level. But when I'm saying automatically this is happening, right? Nothing can going to be happen automatically. Everything is having some logic behind, right? So what is the logic behind when I'm saying it automatically? So for that automatically to that things to work, I need to route one automation rule. I need to write one automation rule. And what this automation rule will do, it will say, hey, whenever this incident trigger, right, this incident trigger, match this criteria, run this playbook, and where this playbook, what this playbook contains, this playbook again will have it on logic app, right? This logic as similarly in the AWS, we call it as a lambda. In that AWS, we call it as a lambda. So pretty much everything is remain same, just the name is getting different here. Right now, I'm going to write in that logic app. What I'm going to write it? I'm going to write some steps there. I'm going to, whenever incident is going to trigger, I'm going to design my logic app. I'm going to design my logic app, right? This is the part of the security guy. You don't have to do it there, right? Or developer needs to help you out there to write that because this is entirely on the designing part, right? So whenever that incident trigger, where on Sentinel, incident trigger on Sentinel, then what you need to do it there, right? Get the details of that incident. Get details of your incident, right? I got my details of my incident. Now, what next I need to do it there? The next you need to do it there. Compose a proper incident. I mean, whatever the steps you want to put it there, you can do it there, right? But I'm just writing a basic steps there. Compose that incident and then send out an email. Shoot an email, right? Send email. Email to whom? The email ID, let's say in my case, I'm saying this is for L1. So L1 get notified and it can inform us and then we can take the further action. Now what next? If this, let's say condition, if IP address is there, I need to, this part, I did the notification. Till part, I did that notification. I got that incident, right? I got that incident. I get the details. I compose that incident at one place, informed my L1 team. All this happened automatically. Nothing has been done manual process, right? And if you want log an incident on the service now or log an incident on the BMC, you can add an other steps here, right? But now, if that condition is matching, if let's say IP address contain, whatever the condition will IP address contain or IP address not contain. These two conditions will happen. If IP address contain, incident trigger, block that IP address. Run that condition again, block that IP address on NSC. Or if you have your firewall, block that IP on firewall. Right? For that, you also need to write one steps. So that part, that thing which we discussed here is comes on that automation side on that SOAR response. This is the SOAR. Any question on this theoretical aspect that we discussed here? If you guys have any question, feel free to ask here. Right? So that's what we are, that's the agenda for today. That's what we are going to do it today, right? So yesterday, let me clear the term and then quickly go on that. So before that, let's just see some of that documentation, what we did it here, right? So this thing yesterday we covered already, right? If we come back on that Sentinel workflow here, on this workflow. So Sentinel was there, right? Sentinel was there. Sentinel was there. Yesterday we returned that analytics tool as well. Alert has been triggered. Incident got logged, right? Manual investigation, like for the hunting, we did that. So far we are good here, right? Now we need to work on this part. We need to work on this aspect. This comes on the SOAR. Okay, we need to work on this part. The Sentinel is very good tool, right? This Sentinel is like very insightful as well for your organization, right? But at the same time, you need to make sure that cost is also a factor there, right? So whenever you are doing any deployment on the cloud, please mark my word, whenever doing any deployment on the cloud, take that cost access also in mind. Because customer is never going to compromise with the security, but at the same time, they also have a bigger eye on the cost part as well. If you are giving that security, let's say, at a cost of 50K USD per dollar per month, right? Per month for all the resources which is that Azure. Somewhere after a point, right? I seen that my customer was a very giant customer in US market, right? And then they were having a very their solution on the cloud, and then they were getting that 50,000 K USD, right, every month, and they started complaining us that we need to reduce the cost. And now for that customer which I'm working it, they are having this much as a monthly cost there. This much. 250K. 250K per month. You can think about that, how large it is, right? But they are good with that. They are very giant customer for my current one. They are good with that. They are saying, I am not going to compromise with my securities. And they are paying that. For monthly cost, they are paying to that Azure. And it's not like entire workload has been deployed on the Azure. It's not like so. They have their on-prem infra, they have their other clouds also, multi-cloud scenarios, and then for the Azure, they are paying this much. So always kept an eye on that cost part also. Now let's do one thing.
So it depends on the logs ingested, right? The cost
Three
is
things.
based on the logs ingested,
No.
or does it cost on the
Yesterday,
uh,
if you remember, Venkat, right? Three parts are there for the cost. Let me show you that. Let me show you that. We discussed that yesterday. Based on three things, it's going to cost you. Look at there. It's going to cost your ingestion model, which you said, the logs we are ingesting it. The second is whatever the retention period you are putting for your logs. I mean, you are putting the logs into a log, but for how many days you want to keep this log? Azure is going to charge you for that. If you're putting it for the 90 days or beyond 90 days, right? Beyond 90 days, if you're putting it there for the security concern, it's going to charge you. It's going to charge you the
yeah,
whatever the
yeah,
release log,
yeah.
right? And then
Yeah, got it, got
cost,
it.
yeah, cost for your logic app executions, right? And if you have multiple analytics tool which you're defining it, that also going to charge for each analytics tool, it's going to charge it there. Okay, that's the thing here. Now let's move to that Azure cloud.
Which one have higher cost in this?
Higher cost, it means the overall measure cost,
Yeah, yeah.
the logs we are ingesting it there.
Okay.
Okay, the logs, the number of logs you're ingesting it, it's going to cost you that. So yesterday I deleted my resource group, but for today morning I created it again, so we don't have to wait for the time it's getting created. And now what all things are there? If I'll go in my virtual machine, I have this virtual machine which can act as a resource for me. I have my log analytics workspace. This log analytics workspace for the Sentinel, it's going to block that Sentinel log analytics workspace. And then the other resource which I have it is my Sentinel. This is my Sentinel. Okay. Now, let me see if I defined analytics rule. Yeah, this analytics rule yesterday which I defined, I created it today morning again based on all tactics. Now see if that incident is coming there. No incidents is currently there. Nothing is coming it there, right? Now let's just wait for some time and then start my virtual machine is up or not. So my virtual machine is also running. That's good. Now what I need to do it there. Let me restart for a while. Then go in my Sentinel. Right? Go in my Sentinel there. Workbook also we discussed. Now we are going to discuss about the SIEM part. If we look at there on this analytics rule which I defined, where is that? This analytics rule. This analytics rule which I defined here. Right? Let me open this one. Sheetal, please mute yourself.
Sorry.
This rule which I defined yesterday, right? The rule which I defined. If I'll run that rule run. Sorry, no records is there. Now what happened? One second. Right, this is there. Now what I need to run it there, I need to make sure that should trigger some incident. Creating one simple rule. Now here I'm going to add my automation response. Let me do one thing. Let me delete this analytics rule which is there and create one analytics rule. Now we understand, right, what is that automating response is there, right? Now if I'll come here, if I'll write one query here, write one analytics rule, and I'm saying it analytics, I mean anything you can make it there, right? I'm saying it analytics rule here. This rule will trigger this rule, analyze the pattern of pattern of threats tactic. I mean, I'm trying to put it more genuine response here. You can do it as your best. That's right. Now, whether you want to classify, I'm saying it high. I want to classify it as a high. I'm selecting all my attack type here for that initial so that we can have some incident in my queue and I can do that. Now, selected all those. Now in the next step, status should be enabled. Go in the next. Now here I need to define my queries, right? I need to define based on that. It's going to run that query. You define the tactics, but your query, you need to define it there, right? That's where that KQL query come in apart. So let's say I'm defining a simple thing. I'm saying it's security event, right? And I can factorize it further. I can put the filter further. I can say it where IP address is there. Yeah, IP address contains on whatever that steps you want to, but I'm not going to filter it further. So I'm just going to show you a simple security event there. Let's see, anything is getting come up here when I'm running this one. Yeah, so I'm getting something is there. Now, let me do one thing. Now there is there, these things are there. Now entity mapping, yesterday we talked about this entity, right? What this entity means here. It means based on that, what I'm going to factor out my resource. I'm saying it host, right? What is that host? What do you want that? I'm saying it computer is there or host is there. Yeah, host name. Give me that host name also. And then host name based on what? Computer. What else I want to add here? I can add my, let's say, IP address, right? The IP is there. Now what IP thing you want it there? I'm saying it address. What address? Give me that IP, client IP address, right? And what else I can add it there? I can add many more things there, right? Up to 10 I can add it there. Let's say I'm saying it, what else I can do it there? Azure resource, I know what is there, right? Let me add that account. So what is that account? Not this one, account. The account is there. No, it's not there. Let me do one thing. Full name. Sorry, it's name. And then what is the name you want? I mind account name, right? I can add many more there. You can create your custom details also. You can put it there. Now there is a query when and where this is going to be run. When and where this is going to be run. So this is going to be run every 5 minutes for the period of 5 minutes, right? Or let's say I'm saying it. No, I cannot put that frequency 5 to. So this is going to be run every 5 minutes for the period of 5 minutes. So what does it mean? So let's see. you have your time period. You have your time period from 0 to 5, 0 to 5 minutes. So it's going to take that lookup data. It's going to look up the data from 0 to 5 minutes. It's going to analyze the logs from 0 to 5 minutes here. Now, you reach out 5 to 10 minutes. Now, this is going to look that data from 5 to 10 minutes, not from the 0 to 5. You reach out to 10 to 15 minutes. That's going to look the data for 10 to 15 minutes. So for every 5 minutes, it's going to look the data for last 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, it's going to look the data for last 5 minutes. That's what I meant here. Okay. Now, so it's showing it. I'm putting it incident for here. Now next, incident settings. Incident, I want to do that incident. Now, there is the automated response. There is that automated response, right? I need to add some automated response here. And for that, I need to create that rule here. This is my automation rule. This is my automation rule. But for now, we have not created that logic app. Let's just keep it as it is. We'll come back here and we'll create that response there. Now create that review and create. Okay, review and create. Now quickly go to where? Go to your logic app tab. Now this is my logic app. Nothing is there. I'm going to create my logic app. This rule is getting saved. A rule is saved. I can come back here and write my logic, this automation rule. But for now, let's just create my logic app. I'm saying it. Let's say I'm selecting this one, right? Putting my logic app name. I'm saying it demo logic app, and I'm going to put it in my Central India. This is my Central India, right? I'm going to put it there. I'm going to enable that long test workspace there. Which long test workspace? The Sentinel workspace. Now going to next, going to review and create. Now creation of logic app is very easy, but we need to define the logic app designer, the designing that we talked about, right? When the incident trigger, get the details and everything. Now this logic app created, let's go there. Right, there are multiple things. So on the overview page, you can see that these things are mentioned, which is not new for anything, right? Now, there on the development tools, right, you can see that logic app designer. Come here, the logic app designer, right? There you need to add the steps. You need to first thing, add the triggers. What trigger you want to have it there? I mean Sentinel trigger. I'm designing it. You can design it via GUI base, and you can also have that code view. If I'll go in a code view, you will get a JSON based file, right? JSON based file, you are going to get it there. You can put it that JSON based file and then you can work it there, right? So I design it both. I designed the JSON way as well, and I design it my this way as well, right? Now I did it for my checkpoint firewall, and not one times, multiple times I did that, right? So add trigger. What is that? Sentinel. Sentinel. So what I'm saying with the Sentinel, I'm saying it with my Sentinel. Whenever that Sentinel incident trigger, select this one, right? That incident trigger. Now I need to first sign it there. Let me sign it to my account. Sign into my account. I'm signing it there. So I sign it to this account there, right? Now this is connected. Now the next step is what I need to do, add action. Let me add that action. I can say that compose my incident. Okay, compose my incident. So this is my compose. I can take it there. Now what happened in this compose? You can find it many things here, right? So where exactly you want to put that incident? So I'm saying it alerts. So whatever the alerts is generating, compose that, right? So I'm composing that alert incident, right? Now the next step is what I can do it here. So after composing it, right, send an email, right? Send an email. This can be a tricky, but once you'll get more confident, you'll good. So I'm selecting this Outlook email, send me an Outlook email. Now what you want? First, I need to sign in there to my Outlook account. Let me do that sign up there. Sorry, I just paused again. Let me sign up there. Let me sign up there. Share back screen. So sign up to my account there. I just click on it, allowed me to sign it, and then I sign it there. Right now, it's asking me where exactly you want to send that email. Right, so I'll put my email there. Right, let's say my email ID is right. The test email ID which I created is. I want to send that email on this one. Right, what will be that incident? I can say that incident is uh, this. I mean it, it can be more relevant. You need to put that right. Or let's say I'm saying virtual machine incident triggered, right? Incident triggered. Right now, email body you want to put it there, right? What email body you can put it. So let's say I'm again saying it that alerts description, right? Alert description and alert status, whatever is there, right? I'm taking that alert steps here, right? So I'm saying it that alert steps, or I can say that what I built it there on my compose, I can take it from there as well. So whatever I'm building in my compose, take that incident here. So I'm building that whatever I built in my compose, I'm taking that output here, right? Now everything scape is ready, everything now. Now this has been done. This has been done. Now the further steps which I can edit for my blocking. Till now I updated my email team. Now I can do that blocking. How can I do that? For that also I need to add that condition there, right? So let me see if any condition parameter is there. Yeah, this condition I can use that. And what that condition means here. So for whatever the condition is there, right? I'm saying it condition, I'm putting it for my uh, IP address or whatever the steps I have it there, right? Let's say I'm saying it, let me figure out that if I have any IP address kind of situation, right? So designing is something you need to make sure it's happening properly. IP address, or let's say just put the simple steps here. Uh, so provide the values to compare and select the operator to use, right? I'm saying it or, and this input is there is equal to a value or let's say I'm putting anything here, right? For now, just to show you how can I design it there. This is my condition now. Now, the next step is I need to block that. And for that block, I need to select the trigger. What trigger I can select it there? Let me see that if I'll find any block trigger here. So this designing is very much important, right? So that automating steps can be happen. Let me see IP address. And why do I need this condition? Because I need to blocking, I'm blocking my stuff based on that IP address. Okay. And that IP address, I need to make sure if my alert contains that IP address there. If it's true, then proceed for it. If it's not, drop that. Right. So that block condition, I'm looking at there. You will get the trigger for each and every steps there, right? So let's just see. Azure ARM template. Azure ARM. Azure API is there or ARM template. ARM is, since my resource is on that Azure template, that's why I'm selecting ARM. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's keep it till here, right? Not even just put one. Send an email, and then after blocking that, we can put that condition and then block it, right? This can be very based on your requirement or your organization there, right? So let's do one thing. Put this condition here, right? And now send an email. So far what we design, We design these steps. Microsoft Sentinel triggered, compose that Sentinel, right? Send an email, right? And that compose, this is what I'm doing it there, triggering that incident and then sending out an email. Let's just see if I'm save it there. If any incident is getting triggered, this is allowing me to trigger that incident. Now, another thing is how this logic app how this Sentinel is going to allow this logic app to trigger. For that, there comes the role assignment. Is following me, right? So I designed that logic app here, a simple logic app, a very simple logic app. Till now we are doing it here, right? Now this logic app is good. This logic app is here, right? But Sentinel needs to allow this logic app to trigger. Sentinel needs to allow this logic app to trigger, right? Needs to allow this logic app to trigger there. For that, what we need to do, we need to create that for this logic app, right? We need to create a RBAC. So I can create that RBAC on subscription level or even on the resource group level, right? So what's that rule? I'm going to do it there. If I'll go in my subscription here, let me go in my Sentinel, Sentinel is here. Go in my demo resource group. Go in my access control. Now here, add that rule. Add that role here, right? And what role I'm going to add it here? I'll show you what role I'm going to add it there. Let this to be added first. So this is got there. Now I am going to add my role assignment or my resource group. I think this is Azure app inside. I think you need to do that. So let me do that owner level access. I'm just putting that high level privilege here. Now member, I think it will be app inside or Azure app inside. Some this role was there. Azure app app. Yeah, this not this one, application inside. Some role config I need to see that role. This is your inside. I need to confirm that role. App inside. Azure. Just trying to figure out that role which I need to load there. This role, Azure Security Insight. You need to select this role as a member. And why I'm doing that? So the Sentinel can allow my logic app to trigger. This is needed. This is important, right? Azure Security Insight. This role is needed, right? On my logic on this resource group on which Sentinel has been placed, right? So that this can be triggered. Now review and create. Now this Sentinel will allow my logic app to trigger now. Otherwise it won't. When this is done, right? This is done. Now things are configured for my logic app now. Go back to your Sentinel and wait for incident to trigger. Now if that incident will, so, okay, so one thing we need to do it there, right? Now I need to call my analytics rule there. Okay, I need to add my analytics rule. So come in automation. You need to write that automation rule, which we skipped that time, right? Now create that automation rule. And I'm saying it, this is my, let me put that logic app automation, automate, right? Now, whenever the incident trigger, right? Whenever the incident trigger, action is run my playbook. What playbook I have it there? That playbook is Let's just figure out. It will show me that logic app. Do I have that logic app? Yeah, it's that. Okay, Sentinel permission is needed. Still, it's just applying that Sentinel permission. Wait for some time. Once that Sentinel permission will get applied, then only this will allow you to create. Right? Just waiting for some time so that Sentinel permission can be allowed it there. So you guys, so far you guys are following me, right? What we did and what I'm doing it there. So make sure that you're doing it there as well. And in the meantime, what I'm going to do it there, I'm also going to add that logic app. I came into logic app, there also I'll add that same rule. Owner, select member. I think security inside was there, right? Security. Azure. Security inside. There. Allow that rule here. Then review and create. I did that. I allowed that communication there. This has happened because I created a logic app in different resource group and that got created in different resource group. Demos there. Now let's just create a resource group. See that logic app is allowed that to first refresh this page. Okay, still that not allowing it there. No Sentinel permission is there. Given that permission, one second, wait for a second. So ideal way is put that logic app inside the same resource group on which the Sentinel is there, right? Because that you're using it just for the Sentinel, right? I think that's the way because I placed in different resource group. If you look at the logic app is in different resource group, demo logic app group, and then this is in demo resource group. Let me quickly do one thing. Let me quickly create that logic app inside the same resource group. Otherwise, it will show that permission error. And that role which is needed, I already given that there. So demo, then logic app, logic sentinel. Then inside the same workspace, then sentinel law. Let's just wait this to be created quickly. I'll delete this logic app here. No, till the time this is happening. Till the time this is happening. So I think logic app has been deployed. Core is and quickly I'll do that configuration of my designing. App designing here. We add the trigger whenever. So sentinel. Sentinel trigger. Right, whenever the sentinel incident trigger, what I need to do, I'll just sign it there.
Sumit, do you have any PDF of this lab, like step-by-step instruction? This,
Not that PDF, but yeah, you can follow that this one, right? What I say, this recording, right? Or otherwise, I'll create one PDF for my entire lab, which I'm doing it there.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
at the
one
end
is
of the course, yeah, at the end
yeah.
of the course, I'm going to share that that PowerPoint slide which I did it, right?
Okay.
But yeah, if you want that lab, I can create that lab point as well.
Only this one is little complicated. That's why I'm
Okay,
asking.
okay, okay. I'll create that and I will share the step by step. Okay, some. Let's see.
And this logic app can be in any resource, right? Any region. That is not a matter, right?
Why
Or
do no? So it does not matter. Even it will take it, but I'll recommend put it in the okay. I deployed in different region then. I'll recommend to put it in the same region where your application is running,
okay.
right? Because this dedicated logic app I'm only using for my Sentinel, right? No other purpose. Even
Mm.
the logic app which you're designing in real scenarios also, right? For Sentinel, it's not going to work for other steps, right? For automating the other steps, right? The like
So
any.
if a company has many branches all over the world,
But Sentinel you're putting it into one location, right?
okay, yes,
Let's say you have your configuration in North Europe, you have your India also in some other location also, but the Sentinel workspace, right? You'll be putting into one location, and that Sentinel workspace is going to take the logs as a centralized way and then going to work it there. So
okay,
that where you are putting the Sentinel, put the same logic app there as well.
the same. Okay.
Yeah. So let me design yes that Central India. And then I mean it's not that requirement. If you're not doing that, it's not going to it will work, but just for that better sake of it, right? I'm saying it to do that way. Like I created for now, I created in different logic app, I created different resource group, and I getting that permission error. Let me just quickly do that. And I think I have not assigned a proper role. I was assigning that contributor, but there are some Sentinel roles are also there. Let me see that. Trigger Sentinel. So whenever that incident triggered Sentinel, that's okay. Let me sign it to my account. I'll pause the screen here so that I can log into my account there. Now sign in has been done. The next step is compose my email, compose my incident. So this compose is there. I'll say it what I can take it here. Whatever the incident is trigger alerts. Okay. Now second is let's just put that only these steps here. Send an email. There are some, I mean, as far I know previously, right? There are some issues with the connecting your Gmail account, right? With that Sentinel. So if you face this issue, right? Previously I tried it. Not, I'm just doing it for now. I'm not doing it. I'm doing it for my Outlook account or Hotmail account. But if you're facing this issue with your Gmail, quickly do that Outlook for other one, right? Try to do your Outlook another account. Let me do that here. Putting this one here. This is my, and then I'm going virtual VM incident. Okay, triggered. And then body I can take it whatever I'm composing it in my alert email output, and then I think the rest of things are good. Right now save this one. Now let's do one thing. Assign that resource group uh, the Sentinel resource group is their overview. Sorry, coming to a resource group here. This Sentinel, what is that resource group? Demo is there, right? On which my Sentinel has been deployed. Yes. Now come here. Add role assignment. I think you need to make sure you are assigning. There are some Sentinel roles are there, right? Exactly these roles, right? You need to make sure. So if you are selecting the responder, it's going to work as a responder, which is going to trigger that incident and going to respond it there, right? If you're having the reader, it's going to read it there. It's going to, if you have that Sentinel workbook, it's going to operate that. If you're a contributor, it's going to allow maximum role. So currently what I'm going to do is Sentinel automation contributor role, right? I'm allowing that Sentinel automation contribute because this is what I have it for me, right? Now next, member, again assign that role, Azure security insight, selected role. Next, I'm allowing this role so that my logic app will get triggered and my this Sentinel will allow this logic app to trigger on Sentinel. Now this is done. Now let's just see if I'm able to create that uh, automation rule there. Sentinel. Now look at the incident count also. See, 240 incident got triggered by the May I just created, right? So I taken each and every I mean tactics there, right? So how frequently the incident is getting triggered now? 240. I think within a 1 hour span of 1 hour, it's got triggered all these rules, right? 240 incident. Now let me write that automation rule quickly so that if new incident is going to be triggered, it's going to enable that. That whenever the incident trigger, let me put that logic app automate. Okay, whenever incident trigger, action is run my playbook. Okay, and there are other actions also. You can change that status, assign override tags and other. But what I'm doing it, oh, it's not allowing me that also. Only playbook configured for that incident trigger can be selected. Playbook appears anyway. It means that Microsoft Sentinel does not have the explicit permission. Given that permission, I think which one is my? Let me apply it from there. I'm adding that permission from here itself. Now it's allowing me, but that you need to make sure that rule, that permission is in place, right? So what I did, I just selected this group, right? And then it's going to trigger that, right? And then apply. Automation rule, I'm going to save that automation rule. Now wait, if any incident trigger, right? It should give me an email. I'll wait for some time. This incident is there, right? Now currently 240 incidents are there. Let me do one thing. Let me delete all of them, right? And now if any new incident trigger, I should be getting some mail to my mailbox without any there, right? I've not added any what I say, I've not added any blocking part there. Now currently no incidents are there. Let's just wait for the new incident to trigger, and then we'll see if this will give me an email or not. Or even for the testing part, right? Even just for the testing, what I can do, I can create one incident. That also an incident there, right? So that incident is getting triggered. Test incident. This should also run my playbook. Okay. I status as in new, right? Or let me put that active, right? Great. So created one incident just for a testing part, right? Now let me see, wait for a second and see if in email got triggered or not, or I can even go to my logic app there. I think there run history is there, right? There you will get that run history. See, now it got triggered. It got triggered once, right? How can I make it up? Yeah, see, it got triggered once, few minutes back, right? 10:10. It means 10 a.m. at 10 minutes, right? It got triggered. So it means my logic app is working. Now let's just do one thing. So all that steps happen. Incident triggered, compose and send an email. Now let me see my email if I got any incident there. I'll pause my screen for now and we'll log into my email account. And we'll show you that screenshot of that if I got it there. Yes, I got that. Let me take that screenshot. See, I got that incident. Let me reshare my screen and I'll show you that I got that incident now. Can you guys see my screen now? I just shared my inbox screen, right? So this is that incident I got triggered. I mean, that body is not there, right? Because nothing I'm going to capture it there, but you can design it like incident name, incident alert, incident trigger, but it triggered me that incident. You're always going to design that, right? There. So without any manual intervention, it triggered me incident. Now I can notify my L1. And then if I'll add my further action there, right? If I'll add my further action there, it's also going to do that like, what I'll say, blocking part as well, right? So if I'll say that blocking, show more,
So
I can add,
from
uh-huh.
which email source it will come?
It came from my own email source, right? When I was doing that, right? When incident got triggered. So currently my this account is there, right? Across globe. So it got
Okay.
triggered because I authenticated myself for this account, right? And now, if you're saying, if you're thinking about that, this is like the incident which triggered is like very rough, but you can design that. I design it properly. What incident trigger? What is that heading of that incident? At what time it got triggered? What is that mail body it's going to be? I can design each and everything from there. But just to show you, this is that scenario it's going to work it there, right? If you want to do that, you can also do that as well in my logic app. But this is that entire scenario like SIEM and SOAR, right? I did it there. So in that compose alert, I'm taking it because it's simple alert it's generating, right? I can, when I was sending this one, I can put it on more details here. For the name type, or I can put more details are there. You can even, I use that dynamic function to put that as well, right? And let's say edit more details. Uh, okay, I can add more details there. I mean, whatever the details you want, you can do it there. You can add it there, right? Now let's do one thing. Try to trigger now. I mean, this configuration, you need to work with that, and you need to work with the developer to configure it properly, right? I did it my own. I did that research while doing that checkpoint integration, and then I did that configuration part. Right? Let me send that. Quickly, as soon as I'm creating it, it should run that. Okay, I think I have not saved that, right? Let me see what email now I'm getting it. Okay, it's got triggered. Now look at this time. Sending me again, but it send me the rough data. But you can design pattern wise pattern, right? See, all this detail it's continuously sending me, right? So you can design that. You can design that in a proper way. Like here, I'm getting the subscription ID, Sentinel alerts, right? Resource event, alert type, and everything. Like this way, you can get notified to your account to do that, right? Now, this is all about that Sentinel for the SIEM and SOAR capabilities and everything on that Sentinel which I told you is here, right? This is all what it needed. If for any interview, if you are going to face it, right, they are going to ask how you are going to configure it, what is the prerequisite for the Sentinel, and what are the components of the Sentinel, how it's going to cost you, right? All that steps you are going to ask it there. Let me do that cleanup quickly, right? And now the next topic which you are going to start it is monitor, Azure monitor. Okay. Any question, guys, on the Sentinel? If you have any question, please feel free to ask. So far, that way we discussed. Any doubt on that or anything which you're not getting it, right? Anything like someone said, right? If you need that demo uh, lab book for this one, I'll create that lab book and we'll share it to you. Right? Anything more, you guys need to have it there. So this Sentinel is making a sense to you, right? Anyone uh, with everyone? If I'll say it like,
Yes.
yeah, right. Thanks. Now, if you have any doubt, do more practice with your hands-on, right? Then you'll make more sense to you.
Yeah, only request is that PDF if you create
Yeah,
link.
yeah, I'll create it. It will take some time. I'll create, but I'll in the mid of the weeks, I'll share with you for sure.
Okay.
Let me. Let's just do one thing. Let's just take a 10 minutes break here, and then once we'll come back, we'll start doing that Azure monitor. So it's 10:17. We are going to come back at 10:27 then. Thanks, guys. 10:27. I'm going to come back here. Let me. Let's be right back at 10.
10:30 it will be good.
Okay, 10:30. But I'll cover that Azure monitor. It will take time. So otherwise, it will take more time. I'll extend that class after 11 as well, right? But I'll cover that topic today. 10 IST, 10 a.m. IST. I'll try to complete it within 11 p.m., 11 a.m. So guys, you can also enjoy your holiday. I'm sorry for taking it all your holidays on both days, but yeah, we'll going to meet it at 10:30 then. Let me stop the recording. You can also have your cup of coffee then, right? Then also you can ask me on that chat in a WhatsApp chat or like by other way if you want to have it there. Now, what we are going it next, what we are going to study at next. So we the next steps for us is we are going to see that Azure Monitor, right? But before that, what is Azure Monitor? What's this going to provide us, right? What kind of services is this? All we are going to discuss is first, and then we'll go for the demo aspect. Now, this Azure Monitor, right? This Azure Monitor is a service. Talking about this Azure Monitor, this Azure Monitor is a service which provide you the monitoring aspect each and every layer of your Azure resources. It's going to provide you monitoring experts, right? Like if you remember, we have that law. We are working with the law. With the Sentinel also we work, but for other putting that logs at one centralized location, we are using that law, right? So this law, what we are doing it, we are doing it logging, right? We are just doing that logging part. We are storing that logs, right? And then doing that logging expert. Because first thing first, right? If we do not have the source of information for you, if we do not have the source of information, you will not be able to do anything, right? So this logging is providing us, this logging is logging any resources which is there on your Azure environment and providing the detailed analysis on that, right? So let's say you're done with your analysis, right? You're done with that analysis and you are Good with that, right? Right. So first thing is, I mean, if you're not willing to use the Sentinel, let's say for the cost expert, right? So the alternate of this Sentinel, you can use that Azure Monitor, right? But there you need to do that manual experts as well. There I'm not doing anything manually, but here I need to do some manual expert as well, right? Now, what happened with this one? You done with the logging by using that logs, log analytics workspace. Azure Monitor is something where you can configure your alerts, right? And then you can notify your L1 team or whatever that stakeholders you have it there. You can notify them, right? You can notify them. Right. Now, along with that, when I'm saying it, monitoring experts, you can monitor each and everything, whether it's a access log, activity log, audit log, or what else is there. You can monitor each and everything with them. Okay, you can monitor them with each and everything which is there, right? So no issue with that. You can do that. Now, other aspects of doing that, right? So when I'm saying it alert, right? Alert is of two types. I mean that how you're going to do that alert configuration there, right? So I can say that alert which I'm doing it there, right? The alert which I am working it here, it can be, I mean the threshold, right? The threshold means on what parameter I'm saying it, alert should get trigger. Makes sense, guys, right? You should have, let's say previously I was saying it, if 10 Windows login attempts fail, if 10 Windows attempts logins are failed, I want that alert should get trigger, right? So that is threshold for me. That is that threshold for me. But now, if I'm saying it, if I'm defining that threshold, what is that parameter, on what basis I'm deciding that threshold there, right? On what parameter I'm deciding that threshold there, right? Now, so that threshold can be of two types. That threshold can be of two types. Wait 1 second, guys, just give me a minute. Now, so what I'm saying it there, that threshold which I'm saying it, right? That threshold is on what parameter you are going to categorize your application, you are going to categorize your alert, and on what parameter you are saying it, that this is that threshold on which, this is that maximum limit on which my application can trigger that alert. Now, this threshold, right? That alert threshold which I'm saying it, right? It can be two types. One is static, right? You understand with the static, it means I'm providing a static value. I'm saying it if 80% of my CPU, for an example, for NVM, 80% of my CPU get reached, right? 80% of my CPU is there, right? So trigger me an incident, trigger me that an alert, right? Trigger the alert. But if I'm saying it for an example, trigger that alert. For an example, I'm saying it, other type of threshold is that dynamic. What does it mean, dynamic? I'll tell you. Other type is dynamic. Now, what does it mean? If I'm saying it, let's say one day your VM CPU is 80%. Next day your VM CPU is 20%. Right? Makes sense? It can be, right. The next day your CPU is 10%, and the next day is your CPU is 30%, and then very next day is CPU is 40%. Now what happened? Every day the threshold value is getting changed, right? Every day threshold value is getting changed, right? This is maximum value you're defining it there, right? But what I'm saying it dynamically analyze my VM, and what basis, like that, what is that average composition is coming into, right? Dynamically you analyze that, and then automatically you decide a value. You decide a value which can be a maximum value for me, which can be a maximum, like here 80%. You can decide that Dynamically you decide that, looking at my pattern of my application, right? Dynamically you decide that and then assign a value, and after that value get crossed, it's going to trigger that incident to you, trigger that alert to you. The threshold is on what is that maximum value, what is that threshold? Threshold means like after that I'm not able to control myself, right? So the threshold is after what value it's going to trigger that alert. So that threshold can be static, where you can provide that manual value, and that other one is dynamically, which you are going to analyze your pattern and then going to create that incident alert, right? Now, what next is you triggered that incident. You triggered that incident, right? But you want that incident get notified to someone, right? In day-to-day scenario, in real world scenario, what happened? First point of contact is your service desk team. In IT world, first point of contact is service desk team. Everything comes to you, L3 or L4 or L2, they are getting notified with the service desk team, right? Now I want that. I want the same thing. If how can I do that? So for that, I'm going to create one action group. For that, I'm going to create one action group here. And that action group, what it will do to me, it will, in this action group, I'll create one action group and I will say that I'll provide that email ID whenever that incident trigger, send out an email to this particular email ID to notify them, right? So I can analyze everything. I can even analyze that access log. If anything you have done it there, my logs will get triggered there, right? And everything get notified here on my Azure monitor. Now let's do one thing. Quickly go there on Azure, our Azure portal. Now let me delete this first.
So what is the major difference between these two?
Between these two means on Sentinel on this one, or like
Sentinel and Live.
Sentinel, see, Sentinel, everything you're doing it manually. You're even blocking that IPs, right? Or even at the firewall level, even at the WAF level, you're doing it automatically. When I decide that my Sentinel logic work, right? Logic app which I'm designing it, I'm not doing any manual intervention there, right? But
Okay.
there, you just notifying them, right? The next step is on your base. You need to do that, whether you want to block it, I'm not doing anything automatically, right? I need to do that further steps there, right? So
Sentinel without this is a Sentinel without SOAR.
yeah, Sentinel without a soul, pretty much you are saying it right. But Sentinel, there are many tactics. If you see in that reconnaissance, other many analytics tactics are there, right? But here it's only going to trigger the way you are going to define your alert. Let me show you that. So major difference is like you can see that it's a SIEM but not the SOAR, right? But the SIEM is also very limited with that. So if I'll go in Azure monitor, Azure monitor. So now I'm on this Azure monitor here. Now, these are all that application inside for that API level, container inside, VM inside, all these things, everything which is needed for your monitoring. This app inside it is needed to monitor your performance error, anything which is happened on that API level. For an example, let's say you're designing one app called Book Flight, right? And you're saying it for the booking of flight, there are multiple things is needed. Like you need to get the source origin address, destination address you are heading towards, right? And then what date you want to go. And after that booking, you have that PNR detail and boarding pass, everything is getting delivered to you. So for all each and every process, I need to define one APIs, and that APIs is a collection of process, right? So if anything fishy is going on at that API level, how can I monitor that? Let's say my PNR is not getting triggered. It has 60-second to time, but after 60-second also it's not getting triggered. So what is the issue in that API level? I can go and I can analyze that app inside there. Right? Similarly, you have different things there.
So any
Now,
security tools also will be there. Any security related. Any way we can overcome all the things using without Sentinel.
Yeah, without Sentinel also your environment can up and running, right? But you need to be tentative enough. You need to, whenever that incident get triggered, you need to take that action quickly, right? Most of the organization do not opt for that Sentinel as well, right? Because of the cost aspect. And then they choose that monitor service. Now here, if you come here, right? Activity logs. What does it mean? Whatever that things you have done it, right? If you have made any changes, you cannot go beyond that, right? Everything is getting logged here. Everything is getting logged. Let's say whatever the steps I did it here, right? See, delete resource group. Few minutes back, I just deleted a resource group, right? It logged that activity. It logged that activity to me. Now, if you'll go in a JSON format, that what resource ID I did it, it also got to log me, even initiated by this person. If you'll go in a JSON, it's going to provide a JSON there, right? And then if you come here, it's going to provide everything there, right? On what resource ID you have done it that I created on my event ID, that resource group logic app group event, right? I did that. I did, and what operation I performed? I did that resource delete resource group, right? If you'll come here, everything is getting notified, everything is getting logged here, right? I provided administrative action there, right? So you cannot go if you do anything. It's not like you will be getting any phishing you have done it, then and you'll get your hand cleaned up there, right?
But all
You
are
will get
reactive, not proactive thing. Like it will
proactive
trigger.
means like you are saying it. If you're deleting it, you cannot delete it, right?
Mm.
That also there. That also there. You can put the resource log there. You can
Mm.
provide that limited. See, I am the owner of the subscription. I can do whatever I can do, right? But on the real scenarios, it won't like be that. You will
Mm.
not going to get that owner access. You're not going to get that contributor access for each resources.
Yes.
Your RBAC manager is going to manage that. It's going to
Imagine.
provide. Let's say you are a firewall guy, right? So whatever the things is needed to maintain that firewall on that ISO, that person is only going to provide you that things. You're not going to get that Sentinel workspace and logic app and everything details with you, right? It's not like so, because this is my own workspace, and for the demo thing, I'm doing that. And even then after, let's say I just deleted that. Even then after, I'll show you how you can do that proactive approach as well, right? How can you do that proactive just if I'll tell you one scenario in my real world scenarios, my application was working. This is the real world scenarios, and this is for one of the bigger customer. My application was working on the Kubernetes, right? My application was working on the Kubernetes, and what happened for this Kubernetes, right? You need to my application secrets, right? That secrets like for that application which is needed, I that again hosted on that Kubernetes, and we call it as a vault cluster.
Okay.
That vault cluster, right? Which takes
Vault.
all that secret, right? Which takes all the secrets, everything getting stored there for that application and everything is right. This is very critical. This cluster now is very critical for me. If this will get read, my application, entire application goes down because no secrets is getting find out there. Right? Now what happened? This vault secret is there, and now I deployed this Kubernetes cluster on the vault, and I'm using that HashiCorp vault. Right? It was that HashiCorp, like the Terraform and everything they are providing. I was using that HashiCorp vault cluster, right? So now this HashiCorp vault cluster was there, right? And someone from the platform side was doing some maintenance. He was asked to reduce the cost, and he was asked to delete that unwanted cluster, right? Or which is not in a use cluster because cluster cost is too high, right? So he figured out the name of that cluster which he need to do it. But while doing that cleanup, by mistake, he deleted this cluster. And which means when I'm saying it, cluster deleted, entire cluster, even that backup also, even no soft delete was there. Everything got deleted. Everything got deleted there. And for
Mm.
next 2 days, my entire application was down. It was like I can say that millions of dollar the revenue loss happened. 2 days because recovering that secret, you do not have any mean. We reach out to that Microsoft to provide that secrets, right? And how can I recover? They said if you do not have that soft delete enable and you did that force delete, you cannot do that. For the next 2 days, we were in a mode of recovering everything, putting it everything, and then after 2 days, right, we worked for like almost 48 hours. We just taken 3 hours of break in next 2 days, and continuously we worked on, and then ultimately we spin out a new cluster, and then what configured all that, and then all that secrets from that with the help of developer and everybody, right? It was like a uh, uh,
So
war situation for
The
us. And
big
yeah.
organization, they don't have this recovery. We
No,
have
so
region-wise
you
recovery.
you have that recovery, right? You can have that. And I mean, initially what was they were doing it, they were just running a single cluster. Once that incident happened, right, they had that ward cluster HA also, which
Okay.
means if this got deleted, this is also there. A replication at the real time was happening. But when this scenario happens, only the single cluster was there. And the guy who deleted it, right, he was asked to clean up the resources. So he went. So if you delete that cluster normally within that 7 days or within that time period you are defining it, you can recover that. But that guy even deleted that soft delete also. He said delete completely now. Soft
Okay.
delete also he deleted, right? So there was no way to recover it there. But after 2 days, we did the recovery, and then we did some proactive approach. I mean, I was the owner that there on that subscription, so I assigned that RBAC role for each entire. Like this guy who's from the platform side, he just only need the club cluster access. So I just provided that individual cluster access, right? And then I also put that resource lock, resource group lock. So he cannot do that resource group lock until unless I'm not removing that, right? So all that things I did it there. So to answer your question now, on that now, let's come back to that monitor service. Now everything is getting logged there. Now on this alert, right? Now matrix is also there. Like see, matrix is also there. What happened with that matrix, right? Matrix is a numerical values. Matrix is the first thing. It's going to analyze, going to tell you that what is that uh, uh, CP potencies, what is that value percentage, what you want, you have it there, right? Everything is getting tell you about that one. So currently I have this, nothing is there in my resource group, right? I just deleted everything there. No resource group, nothing is there. Let me just select anything here and tell to you, right? So select matrix, what matrix you want that, latency, traffic, anything, right? You want to select it there. You can count it there or you can get the summarized value of that. Right, then workbooks is also there. The workbooks, it's the same workbook which we discussed on the Sentinel. You can create own workbook of there, right? And then you will also have that alert, this alert, right, which I was talking about. If I need to create one alert here, let's say tell that notify this action group to that person. Let's say I'm saying it creating an action group here, right? I'm saying it demo, and I'm naming it like SD action group, service does action group, right? Now I can say any display name, so I can just put the display name in more accordingly. Notify L1, right? Notify L1, so I'll get to know that this is for this part, right? Notify L1. The next step here, what notification type you want to send? Either you want to send that push, voice, email, or what resource manager. I'm saying it email. Now put that email here, right? Select that email and put that email. What email you want to send it there? Let's say I'm saying it xyz.com at gmail.com or at your company address.com, right? So that also you can put it there. Click on OK. Now every time this alert is going to be triggered, they will get notified there, right? They will get notified there. Okay. I'm creating one action group here, right? Now, what action you want to give it there? That also you can put it there. That actions and if the signals are there, then that everything is there, right? The tags are there. Come here in that action group. What action group you want to put it there, right? Let's see. I'm saying it. This is for the automation side. You don't have to put it on that one if you're doing it. Now, every time the incident get triggered, my L1 get notified on this email ID. Right? Now, if I'll create it, any incident going to be triggered, they can notify it there. Right? Then logs are also there, right? Service health, if anything is happening across that Azure, right? If any issue is happening, get notified here. Is getting right. Any plant maintenance going from the Azure side, that also is going to notify it there.
We lost you, Sumit, a minute back.
No maintenance is going on for now, right? Any service issues is there from the Azure. See, affected location you are going to notify by this way triangle. and healthy location you're going to notify by this way. So for now, all that reason which is there, it's all that reason is up and running. No issue with that, right? If you have resource health, which means any of your resource is down, right? You're going to get notified the resource health of, let's say my application gateway is there, right? What is that? What is that application resource? Application gateway health is there, right? You have the load balancer. This is basically a load balancer. What is that? Load balancer health is there. So everything you can do it there. Many things are there, right? Health alert also, if any health is getting alerted to you, right? So this is entirely on that monitoring service. Everything you can monitor it there. Everything like logs also you can monitor it there. Metrics is there. Alert is there. Or if you want to go on the resource like on I said, there if you want to look at the Azure keyword, right? Container storage account container, I'll tell you that everything is there, right? You can configure and you can get it. Even the third party integration you can do there. Managed promises is there, right? Grafana promises. You can integrate with your services with the promises and Grafana, and then you can monitor that. Alerts can be can create that alert. Let me create one alert here to show you that. So now next scope, I've selected my subscription, right? I'm creating one alert. Now there are different signals are there. Let me just show you all signals. Signals means that pattern you are using it, right? So what do you want? You want to have that resource health to be triggered, right? You want the service health to be triggered, or any custom log search you want to put it there, right? And see, many of them is there. If you want to put it any action, any activation, right? And any API want to add it there. Many things are there. Any virtual network gateway which is there, administrative action happen, right? Any virtual action is happen, whatever the things is happen, you can add it there. Let's say I'm doing it there. So for last 6 hours of time, it will see me. It will show me any error, any virtual machine has been added or not. It's give me that everything is there, right? So once this is done, right? Now let's say I do not have any resource, that's what it's showing me that. Now it's going to give me that action here, right? Now what you want to do that, right? I want that, I'm saying use that action group. What action group? Which I just created in my I mean just few minutes back, right? I do not have that. So you can select that. The next, provide the details, right? What is that alert name you want to give it there, right? This is the test alert you want to do it at, and all that, put it there, alert description, and then next, and then tag. You created one alert there. That's it. You created an alert got triggered. This is the way how you can do that. Azure Monitor, you can create that alerts, you can monitor everything services is there, which is mentioning it there. Right? So anything on that Azure side, you can mention it quickly, and you can mention that every services which is there. Any doubt on Azure Monitor services, guys, if you have it any? Any doubt on that Azure services, if you have it there, feel free to ask. Right? So now,
Just
yeah,
one thing.
yes,
Uh,
Mustafa, please.
this is applicable for all solutions. I can ensure like the agent is being added to the machines.
Agents being added to the machine. I did not
In
get your
terms of,
question. Uh-huh.
I mean like to ensure the machine is getting monitored once somebody created.
No, so alert
Hello?
monitoring,
Hello,
correct?
I
Hello?
didn't hear you. Sorry, it
Can you hear me
disconnected
now?
again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Can you hear me now?
yes, yes, yes.
So two experts are there, Mustafa. One is logging, one is monitoring, right? So logging is, I'm doing it logging my
Sure,
to workspace, correct?
sure,
For that log space,
sure.
workspace, you need to
But
make sure that, yeah, you need to make sure the logging for to be happen, diagnosis setting needs to be configured, correct? Diagnosis setting needs to be configured, or
I
that virtual machine integrated with that workspace. Yeah, please go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah, can I have like a policy or something that will ensure like all of them, or at least I get an alert that the machine has the agent that will ship the logs and the metrics?
So in the Sentinel, we will configure the like connector and other stuffs in the firewall also, right? Like
Sure.
that.
I'm not getting your question. Can you please elaborate? I'm just trying to understand your
Uh,
question. Uh-huh.
I mean, like we already have, we're using Azure Monitor.
Correct.
Somebody else in our team created machines. So,
Uh-huh.
but we're not sure if he will ensure that the
So,
monitoring
okay,
and
understood.
logs.
Now you want that you want to know who created that virtual machine, right? And who was initiated that trigger and everything
No,
is
no,
there,
no,
right?
no.
Okay.
I want to ensure the machines has monitoring is configured for it in terms
Okay.
of
So, okay,
agent
understood.
and
Understood. Now,
I don't know. This is bad luck.
I mean, the one
Sorry,
that
I
you have
couldn't
not.
hear you. I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Okay, 1 second. Like, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Is
yes,
that good?
yes, 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 yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
So now I got your question. So two, if I'll break that expert, right? Two experts, which you have not asked, so I'll add that also. One thing is, now let's say I created that incident, right? I created that virtual machine, but no one in my team is sure who created that, right? No one in my team is sure that who created that workspace. So how can I get to know that it's me who created that virtual machine, right? So first thing is to answer that question, what you need to do, you can come in activity log. So whatever that things I generated, it's going to show me on my name. So that's one thing. It's going to show me that this event initiated by that person. So that's one thing, right? Now the second thing, if that virtual machine got created, right? How can I make sure or how I'll get to know if this is getting monitored or logging at not, right? So first thing is that logging you need to do it manually. First, you need to make sure that virtual machine you have created, it should have the proper diagnostic settings configured, or it should get added to some workspace, that Lognetics workspace, right? If that Lognetics workspace you're not adding it there, it's not going to send you the logs of that virtual machine, what is happening it there. Okay, so you need to configure that diagnostic settings, or you need to add that virtual machine into a Lognetics workspace. That's the one thing. That's the one thing. The second thing is, right? The second thing is, if after that logging is there, right? Let's say you added that virtual machine into a workspace, right? Now you can configure that alerts. You can commit here. You can configure the alerts for the virtual machine, like for the CPU, for memory, or for any administrative alert or anything, activity log, any access log, you can do it there, right? So if that virtual machine has been configured, you need to do it manually, that logging part. After the logging, you can configure that alerts there. I hope this answered your question, Mustafa.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So guys, do more hands-on, do more practice, right? So today we completed our 16 classes, right? I'll try to cover everything, every topic within the 20 hours, 20 classes which we discussed.